Welcome to the Construction Leading Edge podcast from constructionleadingedge.com. My name is Todd DeWalt. I'm the host, and it's my job to help you grow your leadership skills, grow your business, grow your income, and I'm really interested in helping small construction business owners. And the topic of today's podcast is the top 10 ways business owners can make 2018 the best year ever. Or if you're listening to this in 2019, it'll still work. So these are the top 10 ways business owners can make this the best year ever. Before we get into that, I want to share a review that somebody left for the podcast. This is from a Texas Aggie, and he says, if you work in the construction or a service industry, this is a must listen. The host gets some great interviews with some big-name players in multiple sectors of construction. I've listened to about 20 of his podcasts, and I think they apply to construction companies of all sizes. This is a great resource, and I'm sharing it with our whole company. It is a benefit for everyone from the office staff to the guys in the field. Total gold mine of information. I really appreciate that. And if you like the podcast, then you could take a couple of minutes to leave a review. It would certainly help get the word out. The algorithms in iTunes and Stitcher and all the other podcast players like reviews. So when people search for construction podcast, then the more reviews there are, the more likely this podcast is going to pop up. So if you need any help or like a step-by-step guide for leaving a review on iTunes specifically, you can go to constructionleadingedge.com/iTunes review, or you can probably figure it out on your own. So now let's get into those top 10 ways business owners can make 2018 or this year the best year ever. First of all, get control of your cash flow. You want to get in the driver's seat of your cash flow. I talk to so many people who are struggling with cash flow, and so many of their problems would go away if they could get in the driver's seat and get in control of their cash flow. Here's the thing. Cash flow is not really a problem. It's a symptom of several other underlying problems. You need to think of your business as a revenue-generating engine. It's a machine. Its job is to turn projects into revenue and turn it into profit. And cash flow problems are a symptom that your revenue-generating engine is not running at full capacity. Now, there are several strategies that I've put together to help improve your cash flow, one of which is reducing opportunity cost. What is opportunity cost? I've talked about this a lot. It's this somewhat abstract economic principle, but the reality is here's the deal. Every decision you make has an opportunity cost in business. And the opportunity cost is the difference between the maximum revenue output of a particular activity and the revenue output of the activity you chose. So an example would be, if you have a crew that can produce $5,000 in revenue per day, if they are operating at maximum capacity, then if you have them do something that generates $2,000 per day in revenue, or they only generate $2,000 in revenue because of inefficiencies or bad decisions or poor planning, whatever, that opportunity cost is $3,000 per day. Now, there's no difference in labor cost, but there is an opportunity cost there. So you've got to eliminate opportunity cost. You also, another strategy that will help you get in control of your cash flow is to be proactive and figure out what I call your invoice gymnastics to speed up payments. If you're working on commercial projects, working with real estate developers, working with government agencies, whatever it is, there may be some specific invoice gymnastics you have to go through. An inspector may have to sign off on your pay request. You may need to get quantities approved on a weekly basis. There may be a title company that needs to sign off. You may need to turn in lien waivers. And I see it over and over and over where contractors just submit their first pay application and then hope for the best, and then they figure it out. They run into every obstacle along the way, and guess what? Their pay request is late. And then once that first pay request is late, then it typically continues to snowball and get worse and worse. So be proactive. As soon as you get a project, under contract, figure out what the invoicing gymnastics will be. If you've got to have a pay request meeting, schedule those meetings months in advance, get everybody on board, be proactive, and figure out those invoice gymnastics. Next strategy I'll share would be to eliminate what I call ticket starvation. Ticket starvation is doing work for free. Maybe you're not doing it intentionally, maybe you're not a charity, but there's a lot of work that gets done for free. An inspector walks through, an architect walks through and says, hey, can you make this change? Guys in the field have a great customer service attitude, and they say, yeah, absolutely, of course we can do that. But then nobody finds out about it in the office, nobody bills for it, and you do work for free. There's no sinister behavior. Everybody would be happy to pay for it, but the information just gets lost in the shuffle. So you need to eliminate ticket starvation. Make sure you're getting paid for everything you do. So that is number one, get control of your cash flow. The second way to make 2018, or whatever year you're listening to this, and the best year ever is, if you're a business owner, you need to maximize your revenue. Your job as a business owner, and the purpose of your business is to turn days into dollars. That's right. The purpose of your business is to turn days into dollars. That's not the only purpose, but that's one of the primary purposes. Because here's the deal. Yesterday, you can't get back. You never get another shot to create yesterday's revenue. It's gone. So you need to maximize the revenue every day, every week, every month, and it's your job as a business owner or the business leader to maximize the output of your revenue generating engine that is your business. Here are some strategies you can use to make sure and do that. We've already talked about opportunity cost. You want to reduce opportunity costs as much as possible. And to do so, and to maximize your revenue, one of the strategies would be to identify your key revenue producing activities. What are the activities that you get paid for? Those are the things you need to focus on. Everybody in the company needs to understand what you get paid for, and that's where they need to focus their energy. Next strategy would be to identify your key revenue producing people. Who are the revenue producers? Are they equipment operators? Are they carpet installers? Are they carpenters doing the form work? Are they your project managers? What are they? Who are the people that are producing the revenue? Who are the rainmakers in your organization? And then once you know those two things, once you know your key revenue producing activities and your key revenue producing people and assets and resources, then you need to eliminate all the unnecessary activities that those people are spending their time on. You need to automate as much as possible, and you need to delegate as much as possible. Eliminate, automate, delegate. And for a deeper dive on those topics, go listen to episode 48 of the podcast, and I talk about this concept of load shedding, which is another way to talk about eliminating, automating, delegating. Next strategy to maximize your revenue is to over-invest in project planning. Spend more time planning. I don't know that you can spend too much time planning your work, because when you plan your work, you will reduce waste, you'll reduce loss of equipment, loss of material, loss of time, you'll reduce damage to material, you'll reduce downtime, wasted time, you'll reduce that opportunity cost. You'll have your key revenue producers working on key revenue producing activities, which will in turn maximize your revenue. One last strategy to keep in mind for maximizing revenue, and for a lot of these topics, frankly, is to think right to left. Operate from right to left. What am I talking about? Well, the typical approach is to operate from left to right, which means let's just get started. We'll use what we have at our disposal. We'll use the people we have, the information we'll have. Let's just get started and then hope for the best, hope it all shakes out. The flip side of that, the alternative, which works a lot better, is to operate from right to left. Identify what winning looks like, which is at the right side of the page, and then work backwards from there to figure out how to accomplish winning. What are the resources you need? How much time do you need? How much money will it take? What equipment will you need? Etc. Instead of just starting from left to right and hoping for the best. So Establish a revenue target for this year. Break that down into a monthly target, break it into a weekly target, break it into a daily target if you want to, break it into per project target, and then drive your team. Ask your team, how are we going to get there? What do you need to get there? Don't leave the results up to chance. Third strategy to make this year the best year ever is to, if you're a business owner, you need to sell better to sell more. Sell better to sell more. You need to understand the psychology of selling. You need to get better at talking to your prospects about your work, about what you do. And actually, let me take that back. You need to get better at talking to your prospects about what they need. You actually need to stop talking so much about yourself and your company and what you do and learn how to talk about them. Find out what your prospects need, what your customers need, and that is going to help you sell better and ultimately help you sell more. You also need to get over the mindset issues related to selling. I talk to a lot of people who don't like to sell. They're good at a lot of stuff, but they don't like to sell. They feel like they're being sleazy or pushy, or they're taking from their clients when they try to sell. And that's all wrong. That is not going to help you grow your business. The reality is you provide a great service at a great price, provide a good experience for your customers, and it is incumbent upon you to grow your business. You have potential customers out there who are working with sleazy contractors right now because they don't know about you. And if they just knew about you, they would work with you if they could. Similarly, your future employees are counting on you to grow your business. And the best way to grow your business is to sell more. So there are people out there working for those sleazy, dodgy contractors, and they need you to grow your business so they can come to work for you. Lastly, as far as selling goes, you need to put systems in place. You need to have a system for generating leads, for turning those leads into customers, and turning those customers into revenue, turning that revenue into profit. So you need to have a system. 2 episodes I want to tell you about that I've already recorded. One would be episode 38, which is about being an entrepreneurial estimator. If you haven't listened to that one, go check it out. If you want to learn some strategies about how to talk about your work and how to talk to clients, go listen to my interview with my good friend Ryan Lawson on episode 61 of the podcast. All right, so those are a few strategies. Let's move on quickly. Strategy number 4 to make this the best year ever is you need to maximize your personal productivity. You need to get more of the right work done. And that means getting in a position where you are only doing the things that only you can do. That will likely require you outsourcing or delegating or automating or subcontracting, or better yet, eliminating tasks that you don't need to be focused on. Strategy number 5 is to increase your crew's productivity. This is going to help solve several other problems. It's going to drive revenue. It's going to help with profit. It's going to help with cash flow. And the ways that you can increase your crew productivity would be to, again, overinvest in planning. Spend more time planning your work. Delegate better. Learn how to motivate your people by being a good leader. There's so much that's ignored about the human element when it comes to crew productivity. There are very simple things that you can do, subtle changes in your leadership style and the way that you delegate that will push motivation through the roof, which will push productivity through the roof, will push your employee satisfaction through the roof, and you're going to keep good people. Other strategies that will help you increase crew productivity would be to create systems and processes that will help your crews operate at peak efficiency. The best way to be productive is to be efficient. One of the best ways to be efficient is to do it the same way over and over and over. I'm not saying use old, stale, traditional methods. There has to be some continuous improvement in there, but there needs to be consistency so that everybody knows what they're doing, what everybody else is doing, and be consistent. Strategy number 6 to make this the best year ever is You need to be able to recruit and hire to build your business. You're going to maximize the revenue generating potential of your business, but at some point, as you sell more, as more customers come to you, you're going to need to recruit and hire to bring the right people into your organization. So what that entails would be you need to determine when you need to hire. You need to know when is the right time to hire and grow your team. You'll need to be able to create a job description and understand the key areas of responsibility or the key result areas that this person will be responsible for. You'll need to be able to find qualified candidates. You'll need to market your business to them somewhat. You'll need to understand how to talk to qualified candidates because, let's face it, there is a shortage of qualified candidates out there. But if you have the right company, you can talk about your company in the right way, you will find those people. But you need to be able to find qualified candidates. And then when you find those candidates, you need to know how to talk to them. What are the questions you need to ask? How do you find out if they're a good culture fit? How do you interview them to find out if they are, in fact, the right person for your organization? Then you'll need to be able to figure out a compensation package that works for both sides. Then once you bring them on, you'll need to be able to develop a training and onboarding process to make sure that they get ramped up as quickly and as effectively as possible. We don't want to just spend all this time bringing on really good talent and then just kick them into the pool and say, let us know how it works out. And once you've trained them and you've onboarded them, you need a good way to sit down and have performance reviews with them. You need to be able to, they need to know what winning looks like, and they need to know whether or not they are winning. Seventh strategy is master or harness the power of effective delegation. Harness the power of effective delegation. If you're going to grow your business, you don't need to build workers. You don't need to create a bunch of doers. If you're going to grow your business, you need to build a group of leaders. You need to recreate leaders because that is how your business is going to scale. At some point, if you try to micromanage and try to manage everything, you will very quickly run into a wall and you will become the lid on the organization and it will not grow. So to grow your business, you need to be able to build leaders, and you've got to stop micromanaging. If you're a micromanager, you just have to stop. Bottom line, you just have to stop, or you have to get comfortable with the organization that you've got. You have to be willing to make some changes, and if you're a micromanager, you have to change that. You have to be able to harness the power of effective delegation. And being a good delegator will require you to get over some of the mindset issues that hold you back. Some of the reasons we don't delegate include we just like doing this thing and we don't want to delegate it to somebody. Well, if you're a business owner, is it really about what you like, or is it about what's best for the organization? Another reason we don't delegate is this sneaky, sinister little thing that I would call the imposter syndrome. And we don't delegate to somebody because we want to keep things close to the vest. We don't want to let people in, and we don't want them to get we're afraid that if people really find out what's going on behind the scenes, they'll think that we're a fraud and that we don't know what we're doing and we have no business running a business, so it's better just to keep this wall up and just do things ourselves. Maybe if your business is young and it's not, you don't have very mature systems in place, you're concerned about delegating things to people because you think maybe they'll get this idea that you're this little mom and pop shop and you don't have your stuff together and it's not the right place for them. Well, if you're ever going to grow, you're going to have to get over that. And there are changes in your mindset that you're going to have to make to be able to effectively delegate. You need to understand commander's intent. You need to be end result oriented. The commander's intent is the desired end result of an operation. And I talk about this in some videos that I've done about delegation, but you need to to begin to operate right to left with your delegation, which is to say this is the desired end result. Don't tell people how to do their job. Tell them what the desired end result needs to be. That's the commander's intent. It's going to require a new way of thinking. It's a different operating system. But the good news is being able to delegate, just like everything else we talk about here, is a skill that you can learn. But you need to harness the power of effective delegation. Number 8, you need to master the art of handling conflict. You need to master the art of handling conflict. What's the definition of conflict? It is when two parties have opposing viewpoints on a particular topic. So you think about the construction business, everybody at the table has different viewpoints, different agendas between general contractor and subcontractor, in many cases between a business owner and an employee, between a contractor and an architect, between a contractor and an owner. So there is potential conflict everywhere. It doesn't have to be that way, but there is potential conflict, and you need to be able to master the art of handling conflict skillfully. Here's the fact. Unresolved conflict is potentially the number one killer of productivity. It's also a leading cause of good people leaving companies. I can tell you I've left at least one company because of unresolved conflict. And it's also a leading cause of business failure. Now, the good news is dealing with conflict is a skill that you can learn. It's just like running a track hoe, estimating, finishing concrete, driving a truck. It's a skill. You don't have to be born a good negotiator, or let's put it this way, nobody is born good at handling conflict. It is a skill that is developed, and you need to develop that skill if you want to grow your business and make this a great year. Number 9 is you need to sharpen your planning skills. Abraham Lincoln said, if you give me 6 hours to chop down a tree, I'm going to spend the first 4 hours sharpening the axe. Dwight Eisenhower said this, in preparing for battle, I've found that plans are useless, but planning is indispensable. So you need to sharpen your planning skills, and that goes for business strategy. What are your strategic objectives for your business? What are your targets for revenue, for profit? How are you going to plan for safety for your organization? How are you going to plan your projects to make sure you bring these things in on time? How are you going to plan your staffing needs? You need to be able to plan these things, because here's what planning is. Planning is solving problems in the future. It is looking into the future as best you can and putting plans in place to solve those problems and be ready for them when they happen. Again, this is a skill. It is a skill that you can develop just like handling conflict. 10th strategy to make this the best year ever is you need to learn how to build systems and get comfortable building systems. Here's the deal. A business consists of lots of recurring activities, repetitive activities that involve the transfer of information. In many cases, running a business is passing information from point to point, making sure it doesn't get lost. Whether that is a change order, it could be an invoice, it could be a safety report, it could be some bit of information. But your business at a very granular level is about the transfer of information from place to place. It involves time tracking, setting up projects, tracking change orders, sales and marketing, training people, invoices, you name it. There is a way to build a system. And if you want to grow your business, then that means you need to have consistent results. You need to be able to consistently manage the flow of this information. You need consistent results. That means you need a consistent process. You need to, if you want to have a consistent output, that means you need to do things the same way each time. Another quote, one of my favorites, Albert Einstein, I think, said the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. Similarly, if you do things differently every time and expect the same results, that could also be considered insanity. So you need to learn how to build systems so you can get consistent results. So let's recap. Imagine what it would be like if you could have each of these 10 things working for you. Imagine if you got control of your cash flow. Let's just picture that you're 6 months down the road or 12 months down the road, and you have control of your cash flow. You have maximized your revenue. You are selling better and selling more. You are maximizing your personal productivity. Your crews are operating at peak productivity. You have the ability to recruit and hire well. You have harnessed the power of effective delegation. You are now a master at handling conflict. You've sharpened your planning skills, and you're looking into the future and solving problems before they punch you in the face. And you are comfortable building systems so you get consistent results. So think about that. How would your business be different if you had a few of these, maybe all of these, but maybe just a few of these things working for you? How would your business be different? How would things feel different in your business? How would things be different in your personal life? How would it feel to get control of your cash flow and have visibility into your business and know what to expect next month? To not be looking into a black hole of information, but have good visibility so you can make decisions down the road about hiring or purchasing equipment or whatever it might be. Think about how that would make you feel. If you could deal with conflict, if you didn't have that tension or stress in your organization because there was unresolved conflict. Well, here's the good news. All 10 of those things are all skills that you can learn. Nobody is born with the ability to manage cash flow. Nobody is born super productive. Nobody is born being able to handle conflict. Nobody is born as a good systems builder. They are skills that you can learn. That's good news. The other good news is that the Construction Business Accelerator program that I've put together is designed to help you do all of that, and we are going to focus on each one of those areas in the Construction Business Accelerator over the next few months. Focused effort on each topic. We'll all go through it together to make sure that if you're a member of the Construction Business Accelerator, you will be able to master each of those skills, and you can see these results show up in your business. So if you are interested in any or all of those 10 areas, or 10 ways to help make 2018 the best year ever for your construction business, I would encourage you to go to constructionleadingedge.com/community for details on the Construction Business Accelerator program. Now, I want to tell you, enrollment closes at midnight on January 13th. Enrollment closes midnight, January 13th, and at that point, the doors are going to close, and then we will begin going through each one of these areas as a group. So go to constructionleadingedge.com/community for all of the details on the Construction Business Accelerator program and find out if it is the right fit for you. Now, if you want a customized plan and personal accountability to help you get your construction business to the next level, then I would encourage you to contact me about my one-on-one coaching program where I can do just that. I can help you develop a specific strategic plan to get you where you want to be in your business. So if you're interested in that, just email me, todd@constructionleadingedge.com, and we can set up a time to talk about that. So again, enrollment for the Construction Business Accelerator program closes. The doors close midnight, January 13th. Go to constructionleadingedge.com/community to find out how joining the Construction Business Accelerator can help you win. That wraps this one up. Thanks so much for listening. I appreciate the emails and the podcast reviews. Let me know how I can help you. If you have any questions, you know where to reach me. Thanks for listening. I will catch you next time.